Hey, this is Bernard Ewings, and I want to tell you what really happened to Michael Brown, who got killed by the police officer in Ferguson, Darren Wilson, in August a couple years ago. Now, first off, the media was talking about Michael Brown was a thug that robbed a liquor store. I knew Michael Brown. He was far from a thug. Even though he was surrounded by wannabe thugs in Ferguson, some was real thugs, a lot of them was wannabe thugs. He basically did his own thing, stayed to himself, mostly in the house, little cracking jokes, walking to the store, playing video games. He had friends, but they mostly hung around him. He really didn't hang around nobody, you know what I mean? Now, far as the robbery at the liquor store, I wasn't there, so I can't say what happened. But I remember Michael Brown telling me a guy in Ferguson sold cigarettes and blunts to stay in the apartment complex. And he would go to the store for him often. So I wonder, he would buy whole packs of cigarillos for the guy. So I can't help but wonder, was Michael Brown going to the store to buy a whole box of cigarillos for the guy to sell? Now those Arabs in that liquor store, they talk shit all the time. Sometimes playfully, sometimes not. But when Michael Brown's last possessions was given to his mother out his pocket, he had $10 in his pocket, a cigarette lighter, and some post-it notes with raps on it. So he had money to pay for his cigarillos if he didn't already. Now, as far as him walking down the street, that's when Darren Wilson came down there and told them to get the fuck out the street. Now, I don't know what they said back, but I heard that he ran over my nephew's foot. He may have, he may not. But whatever they said, Darren Wilson was so much in his feelings that he screeched his tires and left skid marks that are still in the street to this day. Now, as far as him saying he got a call from Ferguson, that is a lie. Because first, he said he didn't know anything about a call. Then the chief said he got a call. Then the chief said he didn't get a call. Then Ferguson liquor store said they never called. So we know that was a lie. Now, when he pulled back up on my nephew, this coward that hid behind a badge, Darren Wilson, I think he tried to punk my nephew, Michael Brown. He grabbed him by the neck, tried to pull him into the vehicle, but he seen how big he was. He tried to open the door, and it probably bounced off my nephew, knocking him back, which caused him to grab his gun. And that's probably why Michael Brown got shot in the vehicle, because this coward-ass cop got him by the collar trying to pull him in the vehicle, his head into the vehicle, while he got a gun out. So, of course, anybody gonna put their hand out to try to block it. Like, what the hell is this fucking dude doing? And when he let off a shot, that's when Michael Brown started running. And you could see all the evidence going down Canfield. First, his hat fell off while he was running. Then he ran out his flip-flops. But then you see him turn back around facing those items laying dead on the ground. And there was no blood splatter behind him. Trust me, I know. I was one of the first few people up there right after it happened. And Darren Wilson was nowhere on the scene. He ran off like a coward. As the police supposed to stay on the scene after they shot someone, Darren Wilson ran off. And then he said that my nephew was like Hulk Hogan and he was like a 5-year-old. But he said Michael Brown wrestled the gun away from him. So if Michael Brown was like Hulk Hogan and he was like a 5-year-old, how could a 5-year-old wrestle a gun back from Hulk Hogan? So that was a lie. And then you said Michael Brown hit you so hard that if he hit you again, you thought he was going to knock you out. But all you have is this little bruise on the opposite side of your face to where Mike Brown was. Now, Mike Brown was 6'4", almost 300 pounds. If he hit you with all his might, you going to have more than just that little blush mark right there on the opposite side of where Mike Brown was facing you. And then as far as the coroner saying that Michael Brown did not get shot in the back, but he claiming 2 of the shots was inconclusive, which means he could have got shot in the back arm, the back meat part of the arm, and the bullet could have traveled. Why they trying to dispel that? And like I said, there was no blood splatter behind him for, like Darren Wilson was saying, he turned around and tried to charge him. After they let his body lay out there for 5 hours, because I stayed out there the whole time, they put 2 big white sheets up. They held them up high as they can to block the view on both sides from the body. And I bet you that's when they put the blood splatter down there to cover it up. And then Bob McCullough, he was supposed to be the one trying to prosecute the killer of Michael Brown, but instead it seems he was working for Darren Wilson. And first of all, it was a conflict of interest because he was on the board of Backstoppers, which is an organization funded by the police and started by the police. So he said to kill all that, he just gonna resign from his position on the board of Backstoppers. So they will make a conflict of interest. Yeah, right, but we still know where your heart still lie. Like they can put you right back on the board after this is all over. So we know what you was trying to do, McCullough. You was trying to railroad a black man once again. And Darren Wilson, you know, he was just a scary coward that was working in a city, in a Ferguson, where there was a lot of black people hiding behind his badge thinking he was tough. And then one sign of a black man resisting him, he gets scared as shit and wants to pull his gun out like a coward. So that's what really happened to Michael Brown. Just one big cover-up. Darren Wilson killed him, didn't have to kill him, and the police covered it up, basically. Cold-blooded murder, along with the prosecuting attorney, Bob McCullough, and the state of St. Louis, Missouri.